In the analog domain, I have referred to almost all of Himanshu's videos from the for the PPO interview, and also the greatest thing is he was in a cubicle opposite me, so he would come over and help me figure out the
Okay.
question. So that's why I'm like really
Okay. Okay.
grateful for him to actually helping me out during that time. So then the PPO results came and I did not get in, which was not very surprising because the interview was sort of tough.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to PrepFusion. So today we have Surya Gayatri with us. So she has actually cracked a very reputed organization in the semiconductor industry, and she has also studied from Himanshu himself. So we will discuss about all this, how she did it, and what steps she took. So let's get to know Surya Gayatri a bit more.
So hi Anish, thank you for calling me over to your channel to take this interview. So if you're starting from the beginning, let's not from that beginning, but from 11th and 12th. All of us study for JE. All of us study for a lot of entrance exams. I did qualify JE Advanced and all of that, but the decision to go with my current college was because of the requirement for the branch EC. Like I didn't want to go to an NIT or IIT with a different branch, like or maybe a civil or a mechanical. I wanted to go with EC. So I am currently enrolled to College of Engineering Trivandrum, where I'm studying electronics and communication. So the reason for choosing EC at that stage was because I did not like coding much. Like I do moderate coding, but it's not like I wanted coding for me to be like a whole journey or what my life was supposed to be about. So then electronics, I was always fond of it. Like I've been doing projects, little Arduino projects, like everyone does a bit. Like we had a school project where we used Arduino. So from there the interest started growing, and then I was like, hey, why not? Like it's a good field to try out. And there's no loss because you're in EC, you can sit for computer placement and you can sit for your placement. So it's a win and a win. Like there is no loss in the game. So that's how I chose EC. I went to the college.
Yeah, so yeah, like whomever I do the podcast, they say I chose electronics because I hated coding. So yeah, but it's not like that. You also loved electronics as well. So yeah, that's a good decision, I think. Okay, so you talked about you had interest in EC and all those things. So let's start with your B.Tech thing. So how was your GPA and all those things? Then we'll get to know how you prepared for internships
Okay.
and did you do any projects and what else. All those things we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Uh,
So coming to my B.Tech life, I'm currently in my fourth year. So it has been very fun till now. I think it's a balance of fun and technical knowledge. But like if you're talking about this first second years, I was completely unaware about what to do and how to do proceed technically. But I had a lot of fun in those years. Then if you're talking about CGPA, I've always tried to maintain it above 9. So currently I have a CGPA of 9.16, which is not very difficult to get in our college, but still
Okay,
some
yeah.
sort
It
of
depends. It varies basically from college to college
correct,
actually.
correct.
So don't like whoever is watching this, your college may be a bit strict. So yeah.
So it's like for our curriculum, getting above 9 is obviously a bit difficult, but you can manage it with the other things. What I felt is like the companies that usually come for placement don't usually have a very strict CGPA criteria. Like they usually have above 7.5, but it's anyway better to have above 8.5, above 9 CGPA if you can keep it or maintain it like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the general benchmark I also say to students. Like at least keep it 8 and 8.5 above because few many companies at least 8 above they see, and few companies also have the cutoff bit higher. So it depends on them. So now we can discuss any projects you did during your preparation and which resources you followed. So we can discuss about that and like exactly which field were you interested in. So
So
you
the
can tell us
field
about that.
thing is a very specific thing. Like when I went for, there was a mentorship program by this company that we'll be talking about
Uh,
later. But
yeah.
yeah, so through that program, I thought that NLog would be a good option for me because I sort of had a good feeling. Like I sort of liked it. So for analog, what we did was we did some projects like designing local oscillator, LDO, PLL, These are
Like in your own college, is it, or like where you are going in
no,
the
no.
like
This is in
internship?
like in my college. We had this program called Chip to Startup. So we have access to tools like Virtuoso, Genus. So through that,
Okay.
I was able to design circuits like local oscillators, and then PDDs like PLL, all of these things. Like
So that chip to startup, it's like it comes to different colleges, or like it was specific to your college only, like.
so, it depends on the merit of the college. Like if your college is selected for
Okay.
it, then you will be able to access
Okay, they will
the
come.
resources. Yeah. So for me, it
Okay.
was very beneficial because I was able to get a understanding of how analog design and layout works. And then the other projects that I did was I did a digital project for this competition called Eyantra. So I don't know if you've heard about it, but Eyantra is a competition organized by IIT Bombay. So there they have this FPGA related projects. So there we
You applied for that like like by on your own, or like it was
it's like
like some.
a team of four people from our
Okay.
college, so everybody can apply.
Okay.
So we went through the task. That was completely digitally related. It was about implementing a RISC-V processor on FPGA. So luckily, in that competition, we were able to achieve All India rank four for the particular theme. So that's how my digital projects went on. I did other digital projects too in like using Vivado, like designing basic circuits. Like what I said is I don't really learn theoretically. For me, it has always been about simulating it and then seeing how the output is coming, or like I want to see the result only, then I'll be able to understand the working. Since Vivado is an open source tool, it was really easy for us to use it. And then the final
Like it
project I'm doing
it
right.
was digital. It was for digital, was it? That tool that you're talking about
Yeah, Vivado is for
mainly.
digital. Yeah. So Vivado is
But
an
okay.
open source tool. Anybody can use. You can install it, and you can start doing adders, half adders, full adders, FS like flip flops, FSM. You can start deciding them on that using Verilog. So it's always good to have like these are my smaller projects. Then final project that I'm doing in my final year right now is the that is an analog project, to be quite honest. Like I keep on switching between domains now and then. Yeah. So
No, it's okay. Like it's more or less, I think, analog digital related. Actually, they're
yeah,
not totally unrelated. So
true,
we
true.
can do
Yeah.
both of them. Yeah.
So the project we are doing right now is in-memory computing using memory cells like SRAM and RRAM. So that is what we are doing right now. So we'll be doing model
So
training and inference on memory cells.
you are doing under your professor, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
college professor.
correct. So we
And what tools are you using? Like which tools are you using to
so
do
for
this?
that we're using Cadence Virtuoso for like designing and getting the layout. Then I
Okay.
don't think it's only simulation level now because tape out is anyway not possible for such a small project. But
Hmm.
yeah, but we're doing model, like we have done model inference. Now we are trying to do model training on that thing right now. That's a quite bit complex, but if you're going into analog, it will be helpful. Yeah.
Okay, like basically, like you have to go under some guide or professor to look
Yeah.
for some guide if you want to do some project or for
Mm.
research internship. Also, you can look
Mm.
in IITs. Those things you can do. Okay, so we learned about projects you would it, but obviously for clearing interviews and all, you need to have the theoretical concepts.
Yeah.
So for that, like which resources you followed, so you can say about that. I think you have studied from Himanshu as well,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
can say about that. You can give a short review about Himanshu.
So since I was in both the domains, like I was in the analog domain first. In the analog domain, I have referred to almost all of Himanshu's videos from the for the PPO interview. And also the greatest thing is like he was in a cubicle, like cubicle opposite me, so he would come over and help me figure out the
Okay,
question. So that's why I'm like really
okay, okay,
grateful for him to actually helping me out during that time.
okay.
Yeah. So he's a really good
Yeah,
person
this
for
one I
us.
didn't knew. This one I didn't knew
Yeah.
actually. This one is also new to me. Okay, that's a great thing. Okay,
Yeah, so he used to like till the last interview also he used to come and help me out with the questions, and you can approach him whenever for like solutions, and he'll be able, like he'll tell you very willingly.
okay,
And for like
okay.
analog, like you asked theoretical resources, Razavi is a good resource like for beginners. He has YouTube lectures also, like he has a video book also, but
Books. I think book. Yeah.
books are also there. So whichever the viewer prefers, yeah, he or she can refer to it, because some people may not do good with books. So videos are also equally good. And then if you have any difficult topics, you can cover it with Setra and Smith. Like that's another usual textbook that we
Book. Yeah.
use for
That sounds a good book. Yeah.
NLO. And then the for analog, I think it's more about Himanshu's intuitive solving approach also helps a lot in the interviews and test questions. Like he'll ask you, like he'll train you on how to look at the voltage and current at a specific point without using a pen or a paper. Like that approach is very
Yeah. Without
hmm,
calculations, like huge calculations, like
yeah.
that.
So then for digital, I think it was mostly gate syllabus electronics, like the digital design part. And then Verilog I did using NPTEL lectures, and then by Janaki Raman, those NPTEL lectures, they are very
Yeah. Yeah. That those are very good actually. I
yeah.
also tell to
So
do that.
standard resources like these, and Verilog I did, and then computer architecture we had a very good course. We where we I referred to Bharatacharya, Masidi, and then like our professor, like he also taught really well. So because of that, my computer architecture basics are also good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's great. Like actually, so yeah, you told about all of the resources. Like basically, you prepared for both analog and digital. So now we can discuss about like your journey, like how you got selected in this company, and what was the step. I think currently many companies are doing this. Like it was, I think, like a hiring drive for interns, for especially for women. So they are coming into many colleges. So these type of things, I think many companies are doing. So you can apply if some company is coming to your
Sure.
college. So you can say about that, and then we can further discuss.
Sure. So in the second year, like I was equally confused on what to do, because people all around you are doing lots of stuff. They're talking about lots of technical things. You don't know where you fit in. Like you don't actually know what they're talking about or what you are going to do, because that's a very concerning point, where because you don't have that confidence. So at that point is when we got a like mail from our placement officer for this company's mentorship program. It's called the Women in Semiconductor and Hardware program. So from there they select people like from like 100 people from all over India. For our batch it was 100 people. For the next batch it was 125 people. So for our batch they selected the top 100, top 100 people from to mentor.
All of the college, all over the
Yeah, yeah, all
India,
the
all of
colleges.
the college. Yeah. Like
Like
which college they are selecting, which the college they are coming. Yeah.
correct. So those colleges they all sent a mail to the placement coordinator, and it was like an on-campus opportunity. So I thought, sure, like why not apply, because it like this was my required field, this was my preferred field. So it would obviously help me gain a little bit more knowledge in the required field. And to be quite honest, like it has helped me a lot in deciding what electronics is. So it was like a 1 month program where 3 weeks were online and the last week was offline in Bangalore. So the 3 online weeks were all about figuring out a new way of learning. We had Ravi Kumar sir. He was one of the person who looks after this looks after this program.
Program.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
looks after this program for that current batch. So he used to come and teach us about basic concepts, and then it was up to us to figure out. Like till now, it was always being spoon fed to us. Like you're studying something, they'll come and teach you. They'll say, tell you, oh, this is what it is. This is the working. For the first time, for in that program, I felt the need to apply my brain. Like really, like they will teach you the basic concept, but the fill the gap, you have to fill the gap. So that was a very nice experience. Like me and my friend, like both of us got selected from our college, and we did 3 weeks of these. And every day you have to submit your assignment. You have to submit your your responses and give it to them. Like you have to show them how you got it. And then the last week was in offline TI campus, where it was a set of bunch of hardware projects, like displaying an LED counter from 00 to 99. And this really interesting project was they gave us circuit inside a matchbox, and then they cover tape over it. Like we don't know what's inside, and we had to figure it out using like CRO. So,
Okay, okay.
that's very interesting for a second year kid because you're learning
Yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah.
these things, but you don't like. And finally, when you get
Apply
there,
those concepts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a teamwork sort of thing. They'll divide you into teams of four, and then you do it with your team. You do these projects with your team. It's a very fun experience to get to know yourself as an engineer, and also develop your skills. Like as an engineer, a lot of things that you should be able to do. So I think that program helped me understand how to actually like get those skills. Then it's when
Okay.
yeah, then they
Yeah.
start shortlisting for the internships. So based on the performance in this program, they have a provision of giving internships for certain select candidates. I'm not sure how many they selected, but luckily I was one of them, and I think my entire team got selected for the internship, like all four of us. So we
So like you had any interview or like it was just totally based on the performance of the that mentorship program?
I think it was based on the performance of the mentorship program, and we had an interview before the Wish program to like to select us into the Wish program.
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. I think
Yeah, yeah.
that part you forgot. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So to like
So for that, like, what they ask, basic, like, what syllabus they cover, because you are only in second year, so I don't think they can cover very high level stuff.
so
So
coming back to the Wish admission thing, so it's like they'll ask you 11th and 12th physics and aptitude. So it's particularly you don't have to learn for it like. You will remember most of it by second year, but if you don't, you can revise it. 11th and 12th physics and aptitude. Math,
physics, I think mainly focusing more on electrostatics, is it like, or like it overall total physics, like force, all those things also comes into the
I
picture,
think
like
yeah, you're right, like no, force does not come much into play. Electrostatics more like comes into
electrostats, I
play.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
electrostatics.
yeah, electrostat, magnetostat, those things. I think they will ask more about capacitors,
Yeah,
more about like
correct,
displacement
correct.
and all those things.
Now that I think about it, yeah, like it was
Yeah,
something on those lines because they
yeah,
can't ask much more in that time because they
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know much.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That's the thing.
then there was an interview. I was so scared for the interview. Like I went there and I was so nervous. I think the interview could sense my nervousness, and he was like, "It's okay," you know. Like he was also sitting there, like so. He's a very good interviewer. I don't remember his name, but if I meet him again, I have to say thank you to him.
Okay.
So he told me like first and foremost, like he asked me to introduce myself, and then there was set of questions like what is the voltage rating coming to your house, like what is it in America and what is it in India, and what's the difference between those two, and things like basic resistor questions like equivalent resistance, like basic level questions. They won't even go into
Okay.
BJT, MOSFET, any of it. They'll keep it to,
RCI they have asked, or RC also they have skipped.
I
I
think
think
RC one
capacitors,
question they asked, but that also they felt it
also
to be
basic.
like they were like if you can't answer it's okay, like it's fine.
Yeah, basically, I wanted to say like to our viewers, like it is basically when they are at first year, it's for a mentorship program, not for the internship. Internship is after she got into the mentorship, and then how her performance is on that mentorship, then they select according to that.
Correct.
It's not about like internship, because internship they will ask a bit of high level stuff. For
Then she
mentorship, they
will
will
ask
ask
a
easy
lot of
because
failures.
yeah, because she was at that point of time only like only at second year, not even just I think started second year, so that was the reason. So yeah, now we can discuss about the part after your internship, like you got selected for internship and then I think you had to do your project, so obviously we can discuss about that.
Yeah.
But you can say like your experience, and like
Mhm.
you can say this much, that how what difference you feel like when we are outside and just studying from
Mhm.
the interview and
Yeah.
from project point of view, and then we can
Mhm.
discuss the procedure after that.
Sure, sure. So I started like I could choose whether between analog and digital. Like we were given that option. So I chose analog because that made more sense to me at that time. So then after choosing analog, like the internship was in March May period. So I had a whole 1 year to actually prepare for the internship, like prepare for the job. And then when I went for the internship, it was a total like it was not what I had expected. Like whatever I had learned, obviously it did help, but it's not asked directly. You have to apply it a lot more. So without like getting into much of the details of the project, what I have to say is like it's a very steep learning curve. Especially the time I went in March to May, we were not given any training because I was the only one who went at that time. Our college does not allow for a June July internship. Like for that year, we had our exams in June July, so I had to go in March to May. So I think it would have been very difficult for them to conduct a training again for one person. So anyway, that.
Anyways, I was also intern, and there isn't much of a training actually. But and that's not also obviously possible by them
True, true.
because you will
Yeah, correct.
get to know a project, and everyone project is so different, so
True.
it's not possible.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so yeah, my like it's steep learning curve only because like you will get a project, and you obviously have to see everything as a black box, and whatever you have to do, that you have to
True.
mainly understand. So,
Hmm.
I hope like yeah, that's a steep learning curve. You can't do anything, and during the job itself also it's a steep learning curve only. You are always learning, so when you come into this field you are always learning, so it
So
never
I've
stops.
always felt that working in this company, it's like Monday, you're given a new task. Then you spend your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday figuring out what the task is. Then you spend your Thursday, Friday finally getting the output. That's what has been for internship. That's what my curve has been. Like Monday, Tuesdays are the most difficult part of the week. Like you literally racking your brains out, trying to figure out if this is the solution or why is this working like this. So you are assigned a mentor, of course. Like a mentor will be very helpful. You can approach them for like your solving your doubts. But the thing that I always make sure is that you don't approach them like too often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like very basic things you should be able to figure out, and then you when you reach to a certain level, then you go to your mentor and say like,
Mm.
okay, I think this should be wrong, I think
Mm.
this should be like
Yeah.
this, so you can go, and your mentor will also understand that you're also giving some effort. So without
I
giving any
think
effort
yeah.
you directly go.
True.
Yeah, like it's not spoon fed basically.
Hmm.
Like I tell the students, like whatever you study, like Himansha is teaching, so he's basically spoon feeding you. But it's not that easy. When you will go to the job, it's not you have to
Correct.
do or by your own, and you have to study by your own, you have
True.
to do your own digging.
I think that's
Okay,
where I made the
so
mistake. Like I did ask a few more questions than like I was supposed
no,
to.
it's okay.
Yeah.
You can ask questions. That's not a problem.
No, no,
Okay,
but
but you have to
yeah,
do your
correct.
own. First of all, you have to ask yourself the question. Then you go and ask. That's the
True,
good thing.
true.
You ask the question and then you go to the
Hmm.
other person, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I think your internship got over, and you had an interview as well, or like
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
was
did have an interview. So I had an interview for my PPO, pre-placement offer.
okay.
PPO interview for me was of went for almost 2 hours. My two panel members from the company were had like they're very experienced people from a design team of that company. So they obviously had a lot of knowledge in that domain, but they didn't make me feel like lost or
Uncomfortable, yeah. Like they
uncomfortable.
went in hasty, yeah. They will start with, I think, slowly. They will start with the basics, and then we'll build upon that.
True. So since it was my first time giving interview, I was a bit tensed. They made sure that I was comfortable, and that's when they took me to a conference room, and then they started. It was a small room where usually people have meetings in. So they started asking questions. We had a pen, like pen paper, and they were like, "Could you like?" There were two or three questions in there. The first question was an RLC question. It had around two inductors, and I think it was not reducible to a single RLC circuit. So then they wanted me to plot the voltage and current waveform for like a particular point and a particular in element. And then I did try to intuitively, like they were told me you're not supposed to use the pen and paper, like you do it using Laplace transform. You have to do it intuitively, like you can't actually have it like write it down and then do the whole long procedure that you learn in college. You have to figure out and then just tell me how it's gonna, like you can use the pen for only that figuring out part. So they usually focus on RC, RL, LC, and RC circuits. These are their usually favorite topics to begin with, and then slowly they go on to be not BJT. They never usually go on to BJT. They go on to MOSFET most probably.
MOSFETs, yeah.
Yeah, MOSFETs they usually focus on, and then OPAMP, like OPAMP also they do ask if the interview reaches. Like if the interview wants to, he can ask OPAMP too. But I think MOSFET is also one of their favorite topics. For the interviews, I solely referred to Himanshu's videos and Himanshu himself.
live Himanshu,
Okay.
but that won't be possible by our viewers. So you have to purchase his course only. That much is
Totally.
possible.
But I'm sure that his course will be equally helpful for, like for cracking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
interview. Yeah. And then I think interview was over, and then I was like asked to. It was the last week of my internship, and they told me that they'll be sending my results later to my placement coordinator. So then the PPO results came and I did not get in, which was not very surprising because the interview was sort of tough. I think in that team, from my friends to who interned in that team, nobody got in. So I think it's a lot of luck and a lot of thing that goes into things like this. Like you can't always assure a PPO, even if you do work hard, even if you do things, there will be some things lacking in you, and even like the circumstances may not be good enough. So I did not get the PPO, and that's when I started studying for my campus placements because I knew that they'll be coming in the next 3 4 months to my campus for taking people. So I was like,
Okay, so basically you had done the intern and then you had an interview,
yeah,
and it was like 2 hours long and still like you didn't got the PPO.
no, I didn't get the PPO
Okay.
because
Yeah, I think
maybe
sometimes,
because
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
positions were not vacant, and yeah, sometimes things
I
happen, and
was
yeah,
not
it's a
really
bit of luck
like
either.
I was not really like very communicative and confident in the interview. I felt that point about myself that I could have improved was it's not only about technical knowledge; it's about how you present yourself. And at that point of time, I was very tense. Like I, for some reason, it felt like a big deal to me. So I put over pressure on myself, and on the interview day I was not myself. Like I was very tense and I was very unlike me. So I think that also did not be in my favor because these people always look for people who can communicate their thinking process, or people who can articulate their thinking process step by step. So that day maybe thing like that did not work out for me. That's what I feel. And then after the PPO I did come back for campus placements. Like I thought I'll study, I still study in analog, because for me somehow my brain was set on to analog because I already did an internship in it. So now there was no point in going back to digital. That's what I felt. So I studied analog again from scratch. Like I referred to gate, I revised gate syllabus. I did read Rasavi again, and there were 2 3 months of real good studying. So then, for full time, this company came to our campus, and luckily, I was able to give it again. And then we had an option for giving for both the domains, analog and digital. And one thing for this company and every semiconductor company is true that your aptitude has to be very strong. A lot of people have good technical knowledge, but they don't focus and prepare their aptitude. So when people don't do their aptitude, it's very sad to see people get out, get shortlisted only because their aptitude did not reach the cutoff. So from what I heard was that aptitude has a cutoff and each of the domain has a cutoff. So only if you clear the aptitude cutoff will they consider you for the will they consider your domain score. So the exam was quite tough this time. From what I have heard from all the people who gave the exam, there were more than 600 people giving the exam from our campus itself. So from what I heard was the aptitude was pretty tough. I prepared for aptitude using this website called India Bits. So they have usually good aptitude problems to solve from. And then analog was also good for me. Out of 15 questions, I attempted about 12 or something with good accuracy. And for digital, surprisingly, I just gave digital as a backup because I could give two. So I was like, why not? Like, I do know a bit of digital, so let's give it. And after the test, I somehow felt that my digital went better than my analog. Uh, my digital, out of I think 20 questions, I got around 19 of them correct. So,
Okay.
yeah. So,
And digital was on the easier side, was it, or like it's a
digital
similar
was
level only?
usually on the this time it was a little bit on the easier side. It was a little bit theoretical, not very
Okay.
yeah. So there were questions that were on the other part too, but mostly it was theoretical. So then the test happened on a Tuesday, and then cut to Thursday evening is when the shortlist comes. So these few days are days of tension. Like you don't know you're getting in, you're not getting in. So it's usually these days you can't do anything productive. So then the shortlist comes in. It comes at the evening, and as I had feared, or I don't know, I had hoped, I got into digital. I got into shortlisting. Like I got into digital interview. I did not get into analog interview. So that is one point where I was completely shocked because I did not prepare for this company's or any company's digital. Like I knew the basic things and I knew the gate level syllabus, but not like particularly like I did for analog. I did not do it for any company. So because of that, like when I got this shortlisting for digital, there were around 20 people in my digital who were shortlisted, 7, 8 people in analog who were shortlisted, and 8, 10 people in an embedded domain. So and in the shortlisted list, there were people with very good knowledge of digital. So I was like, this company is gone. Let's focus on another company. Like I was on the verge of not giving the interview, but somehow I was like, now that I have nothing to lose because I've already not gotten the job once. So now, like, there's nothing to lose. You just go in and then give the
Yeah,
interview, and then
yeah,
it's like whatever happens, we'll see approach.
yeah,
So, and that approach really helped me very well because that approach, like when I went for the interview, I brushed up on my digital. Obviously, I brushed up on my digital. I spent the night before and the day before, like the morning before the interview, to brush up my digital, like static time analysis, and then the combination circuits, sequential circuits, FSMs, like all of those I brushed up. And then when I went into the interview panel was very comfortable as usual, and they did start asking questions, and slowly, like I was able to answer all of them, like almost all of them, not all of them. Like answering all of them is not a possible thing, but the thing is that I was trying for every question. Like if they give me a question, I'll be like,
yeah,
did I hear you correctly? Like I ensure that that is the question, and then I will verbally mention out like that is the process I'm going to follow. Is that correct? And then I'll do it and then show it to them. Like this is what I've done. This is the output. And then they'll say this is correct or this is not correct. They may sometimes tell you to think another way, or they may be like this is not the solution. Maybe you can think it that way. So this company's or any like this company's interview is very interactive in nature. It's not a one-sided communication. It's a dual-side communication. So this interview lasted for about 1 hour 45 minutes. And by the time this interview was done, I was happy because I thought I performed well. Like I did, I was happy with my performance. More so because I entered the interview thinking that I would not do it. So obviously anything good is accepted. So then after that, the result came the next day. Like the Thursday interview got over. Thursday night, 12 o'clock, 12:10 sometime, the result came. I'm usually an early sleeper, early riser, so I did not check my phone. So one of my friends from my hostel called me and said, "Hey, congrats, you got the job." And like that's when I called home. I told them I got it. But yeah, like it was I'm glad I got it because I did a lot of work for
yeah.
it. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, actually, like what happens is sometimes, like I will say, like it's a great journey and great thing. Something same thing happened with me as well during my internship. Like, yeah, when you have the interview, right, and it's if it's your first interview, and sometimes flow is not correct or something, communication is not good, so it goes bad. And if your communication is not good, then whatever knowledge you have, you cannot convey to the other person. Then uh, it becomes difficult for you to get selected. So
Yeah.
it's a great journey of yours because many students can take like motivation from this, like even like she was rejected first time but still like at least she gave it all, right, gave it all her in during the second time, and at least she didn't like stop studying. they can keep on studying and improving herself. And even though this is also a good option. Like if you are preparing explicitly for analog role or for digital role, I will say like you can also study a bit about digital as well or about analog as well. That's a good thing because they are interrelated, but it's good to have a bit of backup.
Also, the
So
thing
yeah,
that had one more thing was the thing that helped me was my project was in mixed signal, so it had a combination of analog and digital. So that also
yeah.
did help me to crack the road. So yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it depends on luck, and obviously there is a bit of luck factor going on. Every place there is a bit of luck factor, but you can minimize that by doing your own hard work and all those things, right? So yeah, it was great, Surya Gayatri talking with you and like discussing with all those things. I hope like all the viewers who are watching this video, they can take like precious like guidelines from this, how they should prepare and how they should go about if they are in first, second, or third year, like what they should do. So, any parting words you want to say, and then we can wrap up the interview. Thank you.
So I think it's going to be difficult. It's not an easy road getting in placed into VLSI company, especially in this market. The roles are great.
Yeah, currently market is improving. Previously, it was like this. I think previous year, I think it was very bad. Currently, what I've heard is it improving a bit well. But yes, it's not like 2023 or something. It was like there that time it was
2023 was
very
great.
good.
Like a lot of people got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like it's the whole tech sector is currently a bit on the recession end, so
Hmm.
it's kind of on the downside. But I think it's still going in the right direction.
True. So anyway, that's hope. Like if you keep on working somewhere or the other, you'll reach to the end. And even if you don't reach, you'll gain something valuable out of it. Like it's fine.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
you're not learning it for just a job or just a this thing. Like you're doing it for yourself. Like it's not for a company or some specific thing.
Like it will be helpful like later on it will get used, trust me, whatever you learn today somewhere along the line down the line it will get used. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to our channel, and I hope we meet again.
Thank you so much, Anish, for having me on the interview. Bye, guys. Bye.